podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Ben.
And today we're going to be talking a bit about a few things. Quentin Tarantino being one of them. There's new films coming out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which has Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and many, many other actors in it, which seems pretty cool. What else do you want to talk about today, man? You've got a few things lined up, I think.
Yeah, I think you're a bigger Quentin Tarantino fan than I am.
Yeah.
But the things that I got kind of excited about this week, I really, really like that new series. I think I've mentioned it probably on the podcast the last one or two times. The Boys, of which I've watched all of them now, and that was really cool.
Based on a comic book, innit? The superhero.
Is it?
Yep. Yeah, there's a comic book of it.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, no, I think I've read that somewhere.
I mean, they are superheroes, so.
They are superheroes. Doesn't mean it always has to be based on a comic book, though.
Name a super... Oh, no, Black Lightning. There you go.
And then also... Yeah, I don't know, bits and pieces. Pokemon Sword and Shield had some updates on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get
some
around to
funky
that later
things.
then, yeah? Or...
And then you want to hear about stupid lateral thinking puzzles.
Yeah, what is lateral... Go with that first, and then I can just cut it out if it's not.
Yeah, I mean, lateral thinking puzzles are, in my opinion, a waste of time.
Why? What are they?
So, essentially, you know, there's lots of different things like riddles and things like that out there where people will ask you a question, then you kind of have to find the answer. Lateral thinking puzzles take that concept, take that idea, and then turn it on its side, flip it upside down, kind of twist it in the middle, and then just kind of throw it back at you in your face.
Meaning what? Give me an example.
Let me give you an example. That's exactly what I want to do.
You're going to take one from the internet. You're going to nick one?
No. This is one that I was talking about earlier today, and myself and my wife were talking about it and how ridiculous it is as a concept. So essentially, I'll give you kind of like a maybe 2-sentence max statement, and then you have to ask questions around it to find out what the actual answer is.
Okay.
But you need to think very much outside the box, because it's not just going to be basic.
Right, okay.
So the statement is, a man walks into a restaurant and orders albatross soup. He takes one taste, runs outside, and kills himself. Now that is all the information that you get, but you have to ask me yes or no questions to be able to determine what else is going on. And then you have to give me what you think has happened.
Was he a vegan?
Nope.
Was he allergic to albatross soup?
Nope. Pretty dumb for a thing for him to order albatross soup if he's vegan or allergic to albatross. Yeah. No.
Was he prior to this? Was he suicidal?
No. It was very much a turn of events.
In this world, the freak events such as like poltergeists and things exist.
No.
So he wasn't just possessed and like killed himself.
No.
He wasn't just
natural.
driven mad by. This is a bit weird. This. Let's have a think. What else? What else could I ask?
What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling like this is?
Was it a nice restaurant? Was the albatross soup that bad that he had to end his life?
No.
It was an alright soup.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was nothing bad about it.
Alright, what's the answer? Tell me. I don't see how you can find an answer from that.
I don't think that even when I give you the answer, you're going to find links to why it's the answer.
Is it just going to be something completely different? Like,
it's a weird backstory. So, the answer: the man had been in the Navy and was shipwrecked on an island with his crewmates. Some died of starvation, but the captain kept the rest alive by feeding them what he said was albatross soup.
What?
When the man discovered how different the restaurant's albatross soup tasted, he knew that he had really been eating his dead shipmates, and he killed himself out of guilt.
Right. So, yeah, but then there's not... So it shouldn't have just been a man. It should have been something like a sailor walks into a restaurant.
No, because that's not the point.
So you meant to say, like, okay, but I've only got to ask you yes and no questions. Only yes and no. It can't be, So I would have to get round to the point of asking, to figure that out, I'd have to say, is he a sailor?
Yeah.
And then you'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't say, what's his occupation?
No.
Because you wouldn't be able to answer it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's bullshit, man.
It is a bit weird, isn't it? Now, the thing is, there's variations of that exact same one.
Yeah.
But none of them make it easier. The other one that I heard, there were 3 people that were shipwrecked on an island. This guy, his wife, and a guy who was like a kind of hunter.
Okay.
And so, same sort of thing happens where the wife ends up dying. The hunter feeds him albatross, and then he goes and orders albatross years later, and ends up killing himself, and finds out that he ate his wife.
See, I feel like it is a good sort of thing. Like, it's one of them like twist endings to like a horror movie or something like that. But it doesn't seem like a very good. I mean, yeah, if you're Sherlock Holmes, then you can probably determine that.
Maybe, but it's 2 sentences.
But then you at least get some visuals behind it as well.
True. Yeah. No, you
like if you showed me him and he was, a bit burly, a bit rough, he had some scars, and you could see that he had like tattoos because he was in the Navy. And then if you saw that, like as soon as he has it, he's like, oh no. But just running outside and just ending yourself because you had some albatross soup seems a bit.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
And how does he know that it was definitely not albatross? It could have been cooked poorly.
Well, that's what
he
I'm
doesn't
thinking.
know that. Like,
why is he just making the snap decision based on?
Like,
this albatross wasn't great. What if he was actually served pigeon and this is just a crappy restaurant?
He's like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
That's turkey.
How does that
albatross.
Immediately make him think? Oh, actually, it was my ship.
And
mate.
also, why?
What about if the guy didn't know what birds were and just came back with a pig and cooked that up and said it was albatross?
Yeah, and also like he ate that years ago. He's lived he's like the rest of his life after eating albatross.
Yeah.
Thinking it was, finding out it's a person. It doesn't change the fact that he ate people.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, and it doesn't change anything about him because he didn't do it willingly. He didn't go, there we go, I'll have some of that.
But see, what we've said, everything that we said is completely valid to the scenario, but it's the wrong answer. And that's what I think is weird. Yeah. Yeah, do you want another one?
Yeah, I want another one. A little bit, like, because I want to work around it.
So now you kind of know that you're not meant to be asking questions directly related to what's
No, you got to ask
happening.
about...
You need to ask the roundabout, crazy out there questions.
It really is outside the box.
Yeah. So, this one is bonkers as well. I don't want to give you a crazy hard... They're all crazy hard.
Just pick one. Just pick one. Okay, is there a massive list?
Okay. This one is short, sweet, and simple. A man is dead in a phone booth.
Okay. Is he wearing a suit?
No.
Is he wearing... Are his clothes clean?
No.
Are they bloodied?
No.
Has he got any wounds on him?
Yes.
He's got a wound to the head?
No.
Wound to the throat?
No.
Wrists?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any weapons in the booth?
No.
Is the phone unhooked?
Yes.
Oh, so the phone's off the hook then,
yeah. I'm kind of impressed at how well you're... Like, I feel like I'd be piecing things together here.
Has a number been dialed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the call go through?
Yeah.
Is there someone on the other end hearing?
I assume there was.
Right.
Like, there definitely was.
Was he attacked?
Nope.
Did he do it to himself?
Yes.
Yeah, he did it to himself. Was it an act of suicide then?
No.
It was accidental?
Yes.
How the hell does he cut his wrist? Are they gash marks, the cuts? Are they like slits on his wrists? Are these slits on his wrists?
Well, the phone box isn't in good condition, but it's now not in good condition.
So he has fallen within the phone box.
No, he didn't fall.
The phone box is now not in good condition.
Mm-hmm. And his wrists are now slit.
His wrists are slit. Slit then. So it's... Right, so he's not been shot or anything.
No.
He's not accidentally shot himself.
Mm.
I don't know. Right, tell me what happened. Because I was thinking he's had some kind of accident, I thought, but then you just said no.
Way off.
Where he's hurt himself, obviously.
Yeah.
He's gone in the phone box to try and call for assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's collapsed and died in this phone box.
So what's happened? A man is dead in a phone box is a sentence that you had. Questions you did well for a little while to get where you kind of got. But he was out fishing.
Okay.
He caught a fish, massive fish.
Right.
Ran to the phone box, really excited to tell his mate. He was like, "Mate, what? You would not believe it. I caught a fish that was this big." Whips his arms out,
Oh,
smashes the glass,
okay.
cuts his wrist.
I kind of like them.
And bleeds to death.
I kind of like them. That's pretty sick.
They're weird.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's alright. Like, I don't know, thinking about it earlier, because of where, like, the initial statement is and then where the answer is,
yeah,
this huge difference in between.
That's, see, you build a picture in your mind. I had, like, some young lad, like, in a phone box, just collapsed on the floor, slit wrists, and, like, the phone box is just, like, smashed up or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine it being, like, in a city or something like that, not by a riverbank. See, there you go. I should have asked, like, is it in a town?
Yeah.
Or, right. Oh my god, it's so cool. I like them.
I kind of thought you might, but yeah, no, I mean, certainly they're interesting when you can see someone kind of link it together and figure it out.
The first one was bullshit.
First one's bonkers, man.
That one was good. When the realistic sort of, like, you can imagine some idiot doing that.
No, I can't though, because glass is pretty hard. And who's whipping their hands out to say it was this big?
Yeah, whilst on the phone. He does that on the
phone. How is he holding the
phone?
phone? While he's doing that, he's like, it was this big. The phone suddenly drops to his hand. Like, yeah, no, it's pretty weird. Well, I mean, yeah, lateral thinking puzzles. That's what they are.
That's what it's been.
But I'm glad you enjoyed the phone booth.
Yeah, the phone booth is good. I like it. I like murder mystery stuff anyway.
Yeah. Well, that takes us nicely into another form of murder mystery.
Quentin Tarantino films.
Ooh, look at that. What a segue. Yeah. Not even planned. You can tell we haven't reversed.
So, Quentin Tarantino, very popular director who's done many other films, such as Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill 1 and 2.
You say many other films. You haven't even listed what he's done in this instance.
I did earlier. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is his new film coming out with Quentin Tarantino's probably in it. He's in most of his films.
He is, yeah.
Anyway, so...
I like directors like that. If I was a director, 100% I'd be in my movies.
Yeah, I'd like... you know, have Peter Jackson in it, like... in Lord of the Rings, where he's like walking in the background eating a carrot. That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like Quentin Tarantino gets like in Reservoir Dogs. He gets a speaking part, and he's Mr. Brown in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I like what like. Oh, we said we wouldn't talk about Marvel. I like what Joe Russo did in Avengers Endgame.
Where he's the gay guy like,
talking about going out on a date with it. Yeah, I really like that. Just a small. Not super significant character, but like, you know, a little bit of dialogue, quite nice. Just a little extra. I like it.
So the man who brought us, like I say, Kill Bill 1 and 2, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Sin City, he did that. I don't think that's counted as a Quentin Tarantino film.
Is it not?
No. They've got to have like certain things. So I think Sin City might have been co-produced or something like that. And it's not his own, like...
Well, yeah.
It's not his own intellectual property, is it?
All the advertisements for this, say, Quentin Tarantino's 9th movie. And I'm just there kind of like a little bit confused because I'm like, I'm sure he has more than 9 movies.
Yeah, so... I looked
on the IMDb earlier and he's credited with writing, I think, 27 different listings.
Yeah.
But obviously that can also include short listings, short movies, little
things.
So,
he has done loads of films, like... Well, just tons of films. But he, like, his own IPs, basically, are, like, things like, you know, Hateful Eight and, I don't know, if Django counts.
Which I watched yesterday, Hateful Eight.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So, things like that, those are Quentin Tarantino films.
Why?
Because he's, like, made them, direct them, everything like that. Whilst things
so
like Sin City is a comic book.
So he's every aspect of it.
For the most part, yeah. So, he's got this new film coming out, which is about two blokes in, like, 1960s Hollywood, and or 1950s, they were, or are currently, one of them is an actor, Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor. His character's an actor as well. Brad Pitt plays DiCaprio's stuntman.
Yes, he does.
Anyway, some things go right. I think what it's meant to be is like
a shoot 'em up.
Yeah, but
Classic
see in Hollywood
Tarantino.
in like the 60s, like 50s and 60s, it was more so they were like older figures that were playing. I mean, you look at like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I've heard you say that before, where like it was more centered as a kind of middle-aged industry. It was something that gradually kind of aged down. Now we have a lot of like popular stars who are really young, but back then it was definitely more. Yeah,
and that's what it's about, pretty much.
Yeah.
It starts off, I think, and it's like he's sort of on his way out.
Like things were better in the old days, kind of thing, or
almost, yeah. Well, it's like they're on the way out, and they've got to kind of do their own thing they want to stay in the industry, you know.
Right.
But then I think
is that why they're doing all the stuff that happens in the movie?
Well, I think what happens, because obviously the film's not out yet, but I think what happens is things go awry and it ends up they get themselves into shit with like mobsters or something, and that leads. I mean, it's a Tarantino film, so like you can't exactly predict directly where the story's going.
Good. So, are you excited about it?
Yeah, definitely. I want to
watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely. I've been excited about it for a good while now.
You know what? I like Brad Pitt and a lot of the different things that he's done. I really like a lot of his movies. I don't really feel like I'm going to watch this when it comes out.
Really? Although you're not the biggest Tarantino fan, are you? You've not seen a bunch of his films, eh?
Not loads. I mean, I've seen Pulp Fiction, because who hasn't? And then I watched The Hateful Eight before this, because I knew that we were going to talk a little bit about it, so I just wanted to see more of what he does. And I don't know what it is. I wasn't super sucked into it. Mm-hmm. You know, I felt like, I don't know, sometimes, spoiler alert for The Hateful Eight, but it's really your own fault if you haven't watched it at this point.
Wow.
What? It's the truth. I mean, it's been out years now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 2015.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, with The Hateful Eight, everyone dies in the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like immediately that kind of erases character development and progression, because they all developed to a point where it was pointless.
Yeah, but
I mean, the whole point of the movie, you know, they were transporting people. There was a bounty hunter. There was another guy who wanted to get a bounty collected. Then there was like the sheriff who jumped in on it. Then they found the hangman. There was also like this criminal woman who they were like trying to take in, and everything else. And then everything that develops, everything that gets unpacked throughout the movie, just ends in a bloody shootout.
But most of them end up with pretty much everyone dying. I'm trying to remember, Dusk Till Dawn, I think, ends up with everyone dying as well.
So, but that's a irony is film. For you. If irony is for you, character development doesn't mean a damn thing.
It still does mean a thing.
And you're not worried about that sort of thing, and you just want to see a shoot 'em up where everybody dies. Quentin Tarantino, you're a man.
It's still character development still means a thing.
Explain
characters
why.
develop.
Explain why. Why is it something that I would even want to watch?
Right. So
because right now I don't think there's any point.
Would you rather watch a film such as Hateful Eight? Say that. But you learn nothing about the character's backstory. The characters stay exactly the same as they are at the start of the film. And it pretty much... They all die anyway. But
so essentially, all that you're doing right here is listing out the good traits of the movie and saying that you're going to remove them and just leave the bad traits of the movie. And would I prefer to watch that? No, obviously not. That's stupid and a horrendous question. So... think about it this way. If you took out the bad qualities of the movie and then put in good ones instead, would you rather watch that?
Such as what? Everyone lives happily ever after?
No, I'm not asking for a happily ever after.
So,
but I'm asking for it to have a direction that it goes in.
Okay.
I don't want to walk out of the cinema and just think,
didn't someone survive in it? Yeah, I thought one person got out alive, but maybe not. Usually, at least one or two people get out alive. Yeah. Reservoir Dogs, they don't know. Reservoir Dogs. Well, you don't know. That's the thing. The film ends with Mr. White has got a gun to Mr. Orange. So Mr. White's been helping Mr. Orange all the way through the film.
Yeah.
They're all these mobsters. Mr. Orange is actually an undercover cop. He's the one that got shot. He took a bullet, but he's the rat, and he took the bullet like sort of by accident.
Super creative names.
Well, that's because they're all undercover. So that's so none of them actually know each other. they've all been put together by.
I mean, if I had 7 guys walk in and they all told me their name was Mr. Pink, Mr. White, Mr. Orange,
no. So that's
Mr.
one of the
Blue, Mr.
they
Grey,
all got
Mr. Green, whatever.
Yeah,
I think I would be a little bit suspicious.
well, that's one of the things in
Not
the
a
film
great cover.
is Mr. White tells Mr. Orange his name because he's dying. And he says, "What's your name?"
It kind of just sounds like we're talking about Mr. Men right now.
Anyway, so the film ends with Mr. Orange saying to Mr. White, "I'm sorry," and then he's like, "I'm a cop," and then the police burst in and start shouting at Mr. White saying, "Put the gun down, put the gun down," and then as soon as you hear the gunshot, the screen goes black. So you don't know if the police shot first, Mr. White shot first. You don't know what happens. It leaves it to your imagination. That's sort of what most Quentin Tarantino films do. They leave the ending up to you, which is really cool. I kind of like it. It's a bit of that mystery. It's like,
what do you mean they
happens?
leave the ending up to you? How
Like-
much is it left up to you when everyone's dead?
Well, yeah, with that, I mean, with Hateful Eight, where everyone dies and things like that, well, that's the Wild West anyway, so that's sort of merciless, and the whole thing is they are people that deal in death. Their whole aspect of life is they capture someone and kill someone and get rewarded for it, and so their whole thing is just dealing with death. So maybe they sort of got the just desserts with that, maybe they didn't, and they all end up dying at the hands of the people that they were trying to capture and send off, and it's all a bit of a sort of irony in a way.
You know what, Matt? You really changed my mind on that, and I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out whether or not that was sarcastic.
Wow.
Anyway.
Thanks for watching. That's
Thanks
us
for
this
listening.
week. Oh my god, I did it again. Thank you very much for listening to the Soapbox Podcast this week.
And thanks for watching.
You can end yourself. Then, if I don't find you in a payphone...